I'm Daniel, the past life regressionist, and it's time to begin.
Lift off and the clock has started.
3, 2, 1. This is Timeless Spirituality. Enjoy Eternity Time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Timeless Spirituality. And yes, it is time for a new episode. And as is customary for some of my episodes, this one just kind of took on a life of its own. I'm just so excited for what's to come for the show. I am stretching out in new directions. I'm getting ready to launch my new method, and I should have the big announcement for you in the next new episode as I put my hand up in the air as I'm recording this right now. I am so excited. Yes. And I have a workshop coming up on November 9th, 2025, and that is located in Carlsbad, California. So that will be an in-person event. I will go ahead and include the information in the show notes. So would love to see you there. And yeah, I'm just so excited to tell you guys about this new method. Oh, God, I'm having such great results with it. Can you guys tell I'm a little excited? So anyways, with all of that said, if you would like to book a regression with me, to discover who, when, and where you have been throughout time, you can reach me on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist or my website, thepastliferegressionist.com. And now, it's time to begin. Elaine, thank you so much for being here. Let me try that again. That was bad. Elaine, thank you so much for being here today, all the way from Mallorca. Right? Did I get that right? Or do I need to roll the L?
Majorca, but I think it's good.
Mallorca. I was Spanish in the past life. Neither here nor there right now. So yeah, thank you for being here today. How are you doing?
I am feeling inspired and quite fiery from this full moon and just ready to take action in many aspects of my life. So I'm happy to be here, feeling quite present.
As we're recording this at the end of September in 2023, and I believe it's the full moon in Aries, correct?
It is.
Cool.
Are you feeling that fire?
Yeah, I'm a little warm right now. Yeah, I mean, I think the fire's showing up in one way or another. And look, it could be coincidence, but then again, I'm a firm believer in astrology, so I can't deny that it feels like there's a correlation. So
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the first official question?
Yes, I'm
ready. As my hands are going up for this one. What is your favorite song about time and why?
It's 10 Years Gone. It's a Led Zeppelin song. And, every time I listen to this song, it gets me quite nostalgic. And I have to say my human self loves nostalgia. That's something I've had to work through. But I also believe a lot in the power of 10. And the decades and how, it's such a closing and opening of cycles. So this song has connected me from day one when I heard it.
I'm a little embarrassed to say that I'm not familiar with the song, but for some reason, I'm just going to take a guess. So since I'm not familiar, I've never been much of a Led Zeppelin fan, but for some reason, I know. Granted, I mean, I know Stairway to Heaven, but I don't know, I'm feeling 1974, but how off am I with that one?
1975.
Okay, I'll take it. But yeah.
Pretty close.
Well, thank you. Yeah, just that was a guess on my part. I can't claim credit.
It was pretty good, one. Pretty close.
Thank you. All right. Are you ready for the second most difficult question I'm going to ask you today?
Ooh, okay.
What do you believe in?
I believe in love. I really think love is the power behind everything. And I think everything else is an illusion. So I believe that we have been hacked in many ways and that we are in the process of remembrance here. as a collective and me as an individual personally, I know my life is one of remembrance. And I'm constantly like, the more I open myself to remember, the more I remember who I am. And I think that whole awakening is really just awakening from our own ignorance of who we truly are. I also believe that it's all in the present, it's here and now, and we have to retrain ourselves to learn how to be here and now. Otherwise, we won't be able to be fulfilled anywhere else. Yeah.
Are you ready for the most difficult question I'm going to ask you today?
Okay, I'm ready.
Who is Elaine?
Ooh. I see Elaine as this woman that I love more and more and that teaches me so much. Yeah, I somehow I've learned to even separate myself a little bit from her and see her as a teacher to myself, to my most profound self. So I think I'm quite emotional and intuitive, and through my whole life, I've had to learn to accept those qualities in myself because I've thought to see them more like as weaknesses, and really I've now found that it's through these extra vulnerabilities that I can actually help and learn from myself and help others in the path. And if I didn't have those qualities, and actually like the more I help others, the more these emotions kind of find balance within myself. So I believe Elaine is a sensitive, vulnerable creature. And I really love her. I really love me. And I think that it's been a tough path to get to where I am and to really, really love myself and all my complexities and my demons and my angels and all together. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a brand new question right now that I'm asking for the first time, although as the audience knows, I air these episodes out of order, so they may already have heard this question at this point because I think it's going to become a regular question now.
Okay.
How have you grown in the last year?
I think this is the year I've grown most of my life. It's been a harvesting year, it seems to me, and I keep going back to that. I've been working hard, and I think for many years I asked myself, like, when will I see the fruits of like all this hard, deep shadow work? And this year has been more of like, okay, I think you've digged enough in the shadow, and like, can you now walk into the light? Can you now see the beauty, and can you now walk that beauty way and walk that beauty path and trust in like your immensity? So it's been a process of acceptance and acceptance of my gifts. But I think I've been very scared to fall into the ego trap of like, I'm a healer or I help others. And somehow I think that all the shadow work and all those years have taught me to just be a channel. So now I feel comfortable accepting my gifts because I know they're not mine and that they're just borrowed so that I can be of service. So this has definitely been a year of devotion and of just accepting that I am good at what I do and that I have gifts, and that doesn't mean that I have to fall in that egoic way, that I can just embrace my beauty and shine, So it's been, if I put a word, I think it's like blooming. And I think of spring, of when the flowers are rising from the dirt, or even, when you're walking on a street and there's like a cracked street in the pavement and there's like flowers or greens of earth cracking through those cracks or something like that, that emergence from what is so structured and hard, and you just flower to be nature, to be who you are.
So as an Aquarius rising, my favorite word is why. As someone with many placements in Taurus, I feel my second favorite word is mine. So when you said that these aren't your gifts, why do you feel that way?
I mean, I think I'm still in that quest of fully embracing it. And sometimes I catch myself saying that. So even now that you say it, I'm like, oh, I said that. But yeah, I just feel that they're lent to me so that I can be of service through this body and through this life. It's not like, yeah, they're not my possession, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm leasing my car, but it's my car.
Uh-huh. Yeah. In a way, yeah. In a way, they're mine for this tiny lapse of, you know, tiny seconds that can be, let's say, my life, let's say 90 years, if that's a lot. And it's so ephemeral, you know, it's such a tiny instant in infinity that they're mine for now, but you never know what can happen tomorrow. And also my gifts transform and evolve and change. You know, when I started working on what I thought my gifts were, have been transforming and have been changing. So there's no attachment to what those gifts are, because if I attach and say, oh, this is what I came to do, or these are my gifts, I also close myself to other gifts that change as I change in my life. And so I find that my life has become some sort of initiation for the work I do. It's like the deeper I go within my life, other gifts evolve, and then I can work with those gifts. And then other women that I work with come with other problems that I can help them with. And yeah, so I feel they're just momentary. They're not my belonging.
All right. So I got to know you throughout the course of your session. So I feel comfortable. I think challenging you is the wrong word, but I know that you're not, I know that you're strong. So I know that this is okay. So it's not something you're going to take personally.
Oh, no. Give it to me.
Why does accepting your gifts or embracing them, why does that limit you from discovering new ones?
You know what's the thing? I think part of the reason why I came to you is to discover that I think I've had past lives where these gifts were developed or where I worked profoundly with these gifts and it was safe to work with these gifts. And then there were many lives where it wasn't safe to work with these gifts. And I think it's been hard for my soul to recognize that this is the time that it seems like I've been waiting for many lives. So I find this conflict within myself, like, is it safe? Is it time? Can I really show up? Can I really come out of the closet with all of this? And I am still in that process. And I think also there's been at least one life where I played with fire, you know, like I messed up. I have that feeling and I've seen scenes of that. And I think that now I'm extra careful, and I don't know if that's better or worse, because I do find myself limiting myself from what I can truly be doing. And that makes me sad, you know, that, and it's frustrating as well, because it's like, I find again and again that the only limit I have within what my gifts or my service can be is myself. And I think that's why I took the decision to go for the past life regressions, even though for many years it wasn't really where I wanted to go, because these past lives kept showing up and showing up and showing up once and again and again and again. And I want answers, you know, it's like, how can I heal this so that I can truly show up for myself? And this blooming keeps showing up as well. Like when I was 24, I follow a path of indigenous Nahuatl tradition. And my Nahuatl spiritual grandmother gave me the name of Itzcalotzin, which is spring. And she said, this is the life you came to flower. This is like to be of flowers, to show yourself. And then I always come back to that. It's like, what is limiting myself to really just accept my gifts and show up for myself and for others like that. So I think there's trauma from other lives.
Can I tell you the word that's coming to mind for me right now? Oh, let me back up
Please.
first. Thank you for
Yeah.
being so open and vulnerable, because I know that's not easy to do, because
Yeah.
it's in a public space. But
Mhm.
this is why I respect you, is because you're not
Mm.
afraid to be like, yeah, I'm still working on it. I think that that's
Yeah.
really important. So the word that's
Mm.
coming to mind for me right now is responsibility. What comes up for you with that?
What comes up, the first phrase that comes up is like, how can I be responsible without being hard on myself? How can I be responsible with softness? Like, how can I truly honor what I came to do here? Because, from my philosophy of life and from my way of thinking, I do think that we're all here on a mission, like on a purpose, or at least most of us. I have to say most of us, not all, or all, but different different purposes. But I think there's many light beings on earth right now doing strong work because we've been waiting for this time. And these struggles are showing up in my life so that I can truly be responsible, so that I can truly show up. So yeah, responsibility. It's like the first thing that came was hardness. Like, how can I be soft and responsible?
So what does that mean to you?
You know me, I'm in the feminine way. And somehow responsibility is like I put it in the structured way of life. Like, you have to be responsible. You have to show up. You have to, have to, have to. And maybe I don't have to be responsible always. Maybe sometimes I can just be human and not be responsible. So I think that in a way, it's that dance, because I do sometimes kind of just have these wild thoughts of like, is ignorance bliss? Like, would I be better just not knowing so much? Or because the more I know, it seems that the more questions there are, and so I don't know if I have fully an answer for that.
I mean, first of all, are you okay going in this direction right now? Because this feels like the natural place for
Totally.
us to go. All right, awesome.
Please, you know me, I can.
Oh, you
take
just
it.
roll with it. Yeah. While you were talking, I think you got me thinking a lot about myself. Yeah, I'm an Aquarius rising, but in a different way, where it made me think about, where am I still feeling that? Where am I maybe not fully embracing parts of myself? Because this is like, I think, where I brought up the word responsibility, because it was what came up for me. When have I had something in a previous life, whether that be a skill or a gift or whatnot, or a position, a power, and not acted responsibly with it? So I then spent all of this time convincing myself, oh, this is why I shouldn't do this. This is why I shouldn't do this. This is why I shouldn't do this. When at the root of it, I'm just afraid. I'm afraid of misusing whatever that may be. Even with this platform, I see this as a tremendous responsibility because of the information that's being put out there. Of course, not stuff that's going to, rattle or change the world, but people take things to heart that they hear. So I try to be as responsible as I possibly can while engaging in these conversations, because I don't want to misuse this platform. And at the same time, I feel that also limits me a lot, because I'm so focused on being responsible with the platform that if I feel that I'm going in a direction where there's that potential where it could be slightly irresponsible, back off. And then I play it really safe in a lot of ways. So that's what was coming up for me as you were talking. So I know you got something for that. What you got?
Yeah, I think, that first of all, I totally resonate, and I do feel responsible. And actually, the women I work with, or the women that come at least through my Instagram portal, that is like what I've been working through for the past 3-4 years. It's been growing rapidly in the past few months. And I also limit myself a lot to especially to speak about certain ways that I think of life. and specifically what I've been discovering in the Christ consciousness and Mary Magdalene, and what I believe truly is the sacred feminine, because the sacred feminine is dark. Like our mother is dark. She's also very dark. And, I have past lives where maybe the working with herbs got out of hand, or there's also the witch wound. And there's also quite a few lives that we were haunted, like that was real, like we were murdered and we were searched for knowing these things. And I believe that that's why I keep saying, like, I even tell myself it's time, like recognize it's safe now to speak about these things. Like we are living the era of freedom of speech. And like, whoever won't resonate, because it also touches the wounds of like the most basic human wounds of rejection, of like not fitting in or being criticized. And I feel that I also play on the safe side, not only because of responsibility and because I don't want to plant on other people's minds my way of thinking, but also because I don't want to be criticized, I'm also like, I also carry my inner child who's scared of being rejected. And I think that there's so many reasons why I keep, censoring what I share. And when I open myself to share from the heart, like when I really think like, oh God, what's going to happen when I share this? It's when I most have women coming and working with me, or when I most have feedback and people coming in the portal. And even though I know those are confirmations that that's where I should be going towards, I still like, I kind of open up and then I'm like, ooh, no, wait a second. Like this is scary. And I'm in that dance. Mm-hmm.
I've been in this space for a while now, and
yes,
I see, well, at least what I perceive. This is just the way that I see things. Doesn't mean it's the way that it is. That there are people in our positions who are more driven by ego than anything. Look, I'm driven by ego in many respects. I'm still working on that. I'm far from perfect. I don't think you're supposed to eliminate the ego. I don't. I don't know. And then I think that there's the extreme where I would just consider it to be the virtue of altruism, where there's those in our positions who it's all about, I have to be doing this for the universe. I have to be doing this for Earth. I have to be doing this for the collective. I don't believe that any act is truly altruistic. I don't. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, because I don't think it takes away from, like, if you give something to someone in need, I think that there's a part of you that feels good that you did something to help someone. When I say you, I mean the collective you, Yeah. And I don't think that that's bad, because you're helping someone who's in need. Do you know what I mean with that? Is it the altruism that gets in the way, that everything has to be a selfless act? And that if there's a feeling of, oh, I'm feeling good about this, is that wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I question this to myself as well, because from when I listen to you, for me, it's definitely no, like we are still human. We're not ascended masters. We're not avatars. Like we're still in the human form, and we can still allow ourselves to be human. And I also think the same way as you, that we are not supposed to get rid of the ego. The ego is part of us. The shadow is part of us. Like we walk embracing them, but we also, in a way, tame it and learn to be the observer and to observe what happens when these things happen. And okay, I helped someone. How am I reacting to that? And like I said at the beginning, I believe in the power of love. And I watched these teachers of mine, and they used to go a lot to jails and do breath work, and they would always share the story, like when they would be in jail they would ask all the people who here would like to perform a miracle for another person, and everybody would raise their hand. Like, this is our nature, that we want to help others. Our love and our compassion is truly what's going to save us. And that's my belief. So I think that right now it's tricky because there's a lot of spiritual bypassing, and there's a lot of, I don't know, just to give an example, like I took mushrooms or I took ayahuasca twice, and now I share ayahuasca or I help others. And honestly, I have to keep myself away from those stories because I become judgmental about them. And then I'm judging myself because I'm judgmental of them. And I think the more, like, the answer just keeps being to open the heart for me. For me, it's just like, just give more love, just feel more love. And with the ego, I think that I do think that that's what stops me. The fear of falling into that. The fear of falling into thinking that it's me, even though I think that I already take a lot of care about it. So it's like, can you just let it go? Like, you're not like that. But yet, I don't know what it is that stops me from fully, like, just being that person who helps others and not fearing to fall into that ego trap.
Can you elaborate a little more on the ayahuasca component?
There's a lot of spiritual bypassing right now. So there is a lot of spiritual workers that haven't really done their own work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people around me, around my community, that for just going to 2 ceremonies or just experiencing, I don't know, 2 mushroom ceremonies, suddenly they are holding space for mushrooms
Gotcha.
for other people. That's what I mean. And watching that and watching how risky it can be for others, because I've held space for women that have come from those spaces, and how much energy can be moved, and not even like that can even happen without medicine. That can even happen from breathwork sessions, or from, now there's this like a Kundalini awakening that they do to you energetically. And it's like, the problem that I feel that is happening is there's no integration, and there's a lot of ego coming in the way and not preparing. So for me, it took me so many years to just feel that I was ready to hold space for other people. And I feel that that fear of falling into that is what's kept me from fully going for it. So yeah, I do have a strong connection to responsibility, yet I don't know what's that boundary, or I'm still discovering that boundary where I can, and I feel that it heals just as I continue just opening myself and holding more space and trusting myself. But I'm still discovering that boundary of trusting that I won't fall into that, because it's not about me,
So, by the way, I'm going to have you back for another episode because we're not going to get to the past life stuff today. This is just too good and juicy. I just feel that this is going to be so helpful for people to hear just a candid conversation about this. So are you cool with coming back for another one?
Yeah, I'm totally in. I'm loving this conversation.
One of my fears as a past life regressionist, as a practitioner, does come with the integration component. Because what I always say after is it's up to you what you decide to do with the information. And there's that feeling of, is my job done at this point? But I'm also like, I am not a shadow work coach. I am not a life coach, this and that. My specialty is as a past life regressionist. I mean, sure, there's more that comes with that, but that is my thing. And it's like, for a session like yours, which now we're going to just tease it a little bit, not give too much.
Yeah.
There is the potential that someone who had the experience that you had would get very carried away with what came out of it in an ego sense. Walking down the street, puffing their chest out, like, I'm better than you. And then on the flip side of it, there are practitioners who may, say the same thing. I found this person. I found this. I found this. And I feel the same way you. Now, I'm not someone who guides plant medicine ceremonies. Not my forte. I wouldn't know what to do. Don't really have an interest in doing it. Kudos to people who do it. So cheers.
Mhm.
It's like the integration component. When we talked about it afterwards, I decided to not focus on the names as opposed to what do you do with this? With what came out of it, what's the information that's important? How are you going to live your life differently? Forget the names. Do I believe it? Yeah. I have no reason not to, but it's a name, it's a label. What is really going to make the difference here? So it's that component of integration too. Is it being a part of this, or is it what you do with this? So what you got?
Yeah. First of all, something that I have to say this before I answer that, but I think one of the things that you do that made me feel safe is that you do leave a little, like at least an open channel. Like if you need anything, send me an email. And I think that helps because if I know that if something strong happened those days after, I could like reach out to you and somehow like we could have figured it out. And I appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
And yeah.
So can I jump in really quickly there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I meant with the further work is, anyone who's done a session with me, more than welcome to reach out to me afterwards. Like I don't just kick you to the curb, but I meant more in the sense of I don't have a program after.
Yeah. What opens up.
Exactly. So sorry for cutting in there. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think that the soul will reveal like what the person is ready to receive in a way. That's what I trust. But also, I think that whatever path it will take the person, it's what they have to go through in a more like macro, just trusting the universe. Like even people who fall out of line after a medicine journey, like maybe that's what had to happen. Like nothing it happens for just because like that. But for me, it's essential to understand that when we work with things like past life regressions or medicine journeys or these journeys where we have experiences that are outside of this body or outside of this life, to remember always like these basic principles that presence and the present moment is what's most important. So what do we do now with that? I think that is the most important part, like you say. So for me, what I discovered in this session or what I kind of came to confirm, it's big and it's also not big. It can be as big as I wanted it to be, But I do think that there's people who aren't prepared to receive that information in the sense that it can be risky. It can be risky to find out these things and not know what to do with it. So I don't know if I have the answer for that, but I think that it always helps to say that, like to come back to how does this apply to my life now? Why am I remembering this now? And that's actually what brought me to you. And also like when I left your session, that's what I came back to. But in a way, there needs to be some kind of maturity to understand that. Like not everybody can understand that. And also it can become like, I want to know more and more and more instead of like, I need to integrate this and bring the juices out of this experience and like chew on it. It took me a while to ask you to send me the recording. And actually I started listening to it and I was like, oh no, I'm not ready. And then I listened it to the recording by pieces because it's almost even a little bit awkward. I'm like, oh God, where was I? And also these things, the emotions that come in the body when you're living the past life experience. And then when you're listening to the recording, it's like these emotions come back. Like I said at the beginning, I'm a quite emotional person and I'm a very body oriented person. And when I was listening to the past life, I kept feeling it in the body. And I kept asking myself that question, like, how is this relevant? Why am I remembering this? Why did my soul bring me to Daniel? And why did we go on this journey? And for me, again, it comes back to how can I use this to be of service to Elaine and to others, right? Because I think the more I heal myself, and I hope for the rest of the people is like that, It's like, how can I nurture more Elaine? How can I be more loving to Elaine, the child that comes within, and this woman? And how can I also take this softly? Because really, there is nothing more to have of life than this moment. And we're so programmed to think like, I need more, I need more, I need answers. Like, I need to know another life, or I need to, that's kind of the energy also that I came into the session. But actually, after the session, I felt more relaxed and more like, oh, wow, there's things that also just belong in the mystery. I don't need to have all the answers. And actually, if like for us who believe in past life sessions, like in regressions, we also know that maybe there isn't enough time in this life to go back to all the moments of all other lifetimes, because this is just one life and this is all we have right now. So what you say at the end, I think it's the most important part. What brought me here and why is this relevant? Why now? I hope that answers. I don't know. Sometimes I go.
It was perfect. And 99.9%. Sorry, I don't like to deal with absolutes.
Okay.
But you didn't leave much room for me it was very, cohesive there. So I think there's a lot for people to chew on for what you just said. And I felt it when you said it. And there was something you also said that kind of it struck a chord with me. When you talked about, I can't remember exactly what you said first, but it was something about, people who take it, or don't fall out of alignment. No, was it fall out of alignment? But they roll. God, I wish I wrote that one down.
Like they become greedy with it, or like they want to know more?
Not that. It was earlier on, but it was about taking it in what we would perceive to be the wrong direction. And I think you had mentioned that just may be a part of it, of their path and their plan. And I agree. Now, here's where I get myself into trouble with people with something like that. I believe that we live in a world of duality. Ultimately, I believe in non-duality, but I believe the two can simultaneously coexist with each other, that they can both be true. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And on the extreme side, everything happens for a reason. Everything is part of the plan. Just surrender into it. I get the mentality, but where I get the pushback from a lot of people is when I say, this is a problem. This is dangerous what this person is doing. And then their response to me is, well, maybe it's just their path. Maybe it's all part of the plan. Like, yes, but can we just sit back and just throw our hands up in the air and say, oh, that's okay. Like, I don't need to thrust myself into it, but I can call a spade a spade. So that's where I think still the two can be true simultaneously, where it may be a part of someone's path to go down that path, but maybe it's part of our path, how we respond to that. Maybe it is part of someone's path to just say, oh, that's the way the universe works. Gonna throw my hands up in the air right now, not say anything, surrender. It's all part of the creator's plan. I don't know why that was the voice I did for that one, but you know what I mean? Of why can't all of these things exist simultaneously? Why can't it be about what do you do with the information? How do you receive it? Or how do you receive it? What do you do with it? Do you do nothing? Do you do something with it? Do you go this way? Do you go that way? Because, I do believe that we all have I don't want to call it predestination, which is a term I learned recently, or predetermined paths, but I do believe to a certain extent that we have predetermined paths. But I don't believe it's as simplistic as the human mind can comprehend. I believe that there's something more to it, where the choices that we make will make variations to that predetermined path. And it maybe we'll end up where we were at the beginning of how that path did, because I don't know the complexity of the universe. Anyone that says they do, they're full of shit. So maybe they think they do, but they don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And also another point that's coming up right now that you mentioned about ascended masters. How do we know that ascended masters don't operate without altruism? How do we know that they aren't more aware of the grander scheme of things. And that, oh, I'm doing this for the people. Yes, I'm looking out for the people, but I'm racking up my points at the same time. Still looking out for them, but, you know, on the higher level, there's something in it for me. Nothing wrong with that. Because why does it have to be so black and white? What you got for that?
Oh, I feel that you get me. I said it exactly like that. And I think part of our path is to be able to hold incoherence as well. You know, there is no absolute truth. And of course, I'm not pro. I think there's a lot of dangerous people in power right now, especially like in spirituality. I'm speaking to this community, the people who are working on themselves and on healing themselves and opening these portals, because they are portals. Like we are opening energetic portals every time we do a past life regression, every time we drink medicine, every time we sit in a circle and have an altar in the center or have a fire in the center. Like these are portals. And there is a lot of people who are not prepared to hold that space. Like you have to know what you're doing. So I'm not saying that I support that, you know, whatever, if everybody can be doing anything they want and everybody's responsible for their lives, because there's vulnerable people as well. And there's people who are very traumatized and very hurt, who are looking to heal and find themselves in horrible places, which just make it worse. So like you say, of course, there's like a duality there. And it doesn't mean, like what I'm saying doesn't necessarily mean that whatever, like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I know you weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like holding those two things, like, because the more responsible we become about our paths and about the decisions we make, the more we can transform and the more we can take action for the best for ourselves and for our remembrance and for our healing and for our awakening. So it's also the other duality is like not blaming that person. Oh, now I'm like this because I went there. It's like, how can I show up for myself? How can I integrate? So even integration, you know, can be very intuitive. It's very different if I went to your past life regression and then I went and drank and alcohol and had a drunk day. I think it wouldn't be the same. Like we have to be responsible with our lives. We have to understand that when we open these doors, we have to take care of ourselves. And integration is not your responsibility, Daniel, in this case. It's, you know, we're all responsible for our integration and for that process of assimilation. Is that a word? Yeah, of assimilating what we lived and journaling and drinking a lot of water and resting good the days after, because that will help. Paying attention to the dreams, paying attention of the thoughts, paying attention of what comes up the days after, the weeks after. And that is also going to make the experience more powerful. And it doesn't have to be that complex, you know. It doesn't have to be a program of integration where, you know, we have meetings every week and we talk about what happened. It can be more intuitive. And that's the invitation. The invitation is to constantly be asking ourselves, like, what do we need right now after we live this, after we open the door like the one we opened? You know, I'm still processing that. And sometimes I'm like, I still don't believe it. And then sometimes I'm like, you know what? Like, there were a lot of people who were there and, you know, it can be possible. And if not, like, that's why I also told you there's things that should remain in the mystery. Like, even though we open these doors, we also have to accept that with this limited human mind, we won't have all the answers all at once. Like, we probably would go crazy if we did, you know? We have to go little by little.
Earlier, I mentioned that my favorite word is why. And then my second favorite word is mine.
Mine?
Mine. You know, it's a Taurus thing. I think slowly my favorite expression is becoming, grammatically correct, now becoming, I don't know. And I think that's what I'm surrendering into more and more. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And in feeling more and more okay with, I don't know, I may never know,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm finding more peace with that, while at the same time being on this journey where I continue to be a practitioner and learn more about the world, time. Those moments just come to me because I'm taking action in a sense, but not for those reasons. And there's a solace in solitude, and I don't know. That's why I love what you said about maybe some things are meant to just remain a mystery. I want to give you the final word today because you've just been kicking ass.
Oh,
Is there anything else you'd like to share with anyone? Anything that's coming up for you right now that you feel is important to share?
I'll share what's most important to me now. After opening all these doors, because I really wasn't looking for it, I started tracing the lines of I've been doing work with my blood and my lineage and tracing these lines. And that's what brought me to Mallorca. And that's what brought me to Spain. And then what opened all these doors to remember past lives, because I do know that the places we are being asked to visit right now, it's no coincidence. Like the moment we step, hopefully barefoot on earth, there's like codes that awaken. Like we have a communication, our body has a communication with the earth. So when we touch the earth with our bare foot, things awaken. So I tell this to myself. So I tell this to whoever is listening, like trust it, trust what comes up and follow the rabbit in a way, but then know when to stop and come back to the present moment, because we can live our whole lives chasing that rabbit, and then we will never learn how to be happy and fulfilled no matter where we go. If we don't learn to be happy and fulfilled in this present moment, nothing will satisfy us. So we really have to invest time in learning how to be quiet and still in this moment without necessarily doing anything. Like learning how to be and not do is essential in these times, especially because, and a lot of us hear this, the feminine awakening is all about being a chalice, emptying our cups so that we can receive, emptying our vessels so that we can receive. But if we're going on chasing and chasing, then we never get time to receive these information from the stars, from the sky, from the earth. And so we need to learn how to be present. So yes, follow the rabbit, but then be discerning of when to stop and just be there and be.
Where can everyone reach you?
I mostly work with women, even though I open myself more and more to working with men lately, whoever feels the call to really be in touch with their feminine and especially with their mother wounds, because that's mostly what I'm working with. And you can reach me at nemini.portal on Instagram or neminiportal.com. That's my page. And I work in Spanish and in English. And yeah, so whoever wants to have a chat or, wants to go deeper into these conversations, I'm a Sagittarius Pisces rising. So I'm always on the mystery and always on the run, always on adventure, and mostly right now moving from Costa Rica, Spain, and my other home in Lebanon. So I'm moving around and I always looking to make new friends also. So yeah, I'm here.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all this today. This was great. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to do the episode we meant to do. So we'll do that in the future. So thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. And thank you for your medicine and your love, because I think you make me feel comfortable, and that doesn't always happen. And, thank you. It feels very close and warm. Thank you for this invitation and for being open to spontaneity, and what needs to be talked is many times not what we think that needs to be spoken. So thank you for the safe space.
I appreciate it. And right back at you. But I always finish this with, yay. Fellow time travelers, your journey through time awaits you. Just want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're interested in discovering who, when, and where you have been throughout time, and you'd like to book a session with me, just go ahead and send me a message on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can reach me through my website, yourpastliferegressionist.com.